NFL teams live and die by their draft picks, and some choices come back to haunt them. These disastrous selections didn't just disappoint, they nearly derailed entire franchises without warning. AFC East. Buffalo Bills. Mike Williams. 2002, number 4 overall. Mike Williams arrived as a can't-miss tackle prospect. Massive size, elite strength, the supposed anchor of Buffalo's future offensive line. Instead, he struggled with technique, conditioning, and motivation. After just 4 seasons, he was gone, never justifying a top 5 pick. When your franchise desperately needs a cornerstone and instead gets a revolving door of disappointment, that draft mistake lingers for years. Miami Dolphins. Yatil Green. 1997, number 15 overall. Then there's Yatil Green, a freak athlete drafted by Miami. The talent was undeniable, but repeated injuries turned what could have been a star career into a frustrating footnote. Every training camp brought hope, every season ended in disappointments. A cautionary tale of potential crushed by bad luck. New England Patriots. And N'Keal Harry. 2019, number 32 overall. N'Keal Harry was drafted 32nd overall in 2019, yet in 3 seasons with the Patriots, he recorded only 57 catches, 598 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns, failing to become a consistent weapon. New York Jets. Christian Hackenberg. 2016, number 51 overall. Christian Hackenberg remains one of the Jets' most baffling draft decisions. He never played a single NFL snap despite 2 seasons on the roster. Reports from CBS and NBC Sports highlight how raw and unprepared he truly was, and even Hackenberg later admitted New York was the wrong place for his development. A second-round pick who never saw the field. A rare and brutal miss. AFC North. Baltimore Ravens. Brashad Perryman. 2015, number 26 overall. The Ravens drafted Brashad Perryman to finally give their offense a true deep threat. But instead, they got years of frustration. He missed his entire rookie season with injury, struggled with drops when he did return, and never developed consistent chemistry with any quarterback. 3 seasons in Baltimore produced just 43 catches and 3 touchdowns, forcing the team back into the wide receiver drought they were trying to escape. When a first-round receiver can't stay healthy or productive, that's a draft mistake that lingers long after he's gone. Cincinnati Bengals. Akili Smith. 1999, number 3 overall. Akili Smith is often cited as one of, if not the biggest, draft missteps in Bengals history. Taken 3rd overall in the loaded 1999 quarterback class, he entered the league with enormous hype, but never came close to meeting expectations. Across 4 seasons, he threw just 5 touchdowns with 13 interceptions and completed under 47% of his passes. Multiple outlets, CBS Sports, Sports Illustrated, and several NFL retrospectives routinely cite him as the Bengals' worst draft pick ever. Cleveland Browns. Justin Gilbert. 2014, number 8 overall. Justin Gilbert had every physical tool a team could want. Elite size, speed, and natural athletic ability. But the discipline never matched the talent. His focus slipped, effort dropped, and the Browns quickly realized their top 10 pick wasn't developing. Missed assignments, inconsistencies, and off-field concerns piled up, turning a gifted prospect into one of Cleveland's most disappointing draft swings. Pittsburgh Steelers. Jarvis Jones. 2013, number 17 overall. Jarvis Jones was drafted to bring relentless pass rush to Pittsburgh's defense, but he never delivered. Across 4 seasons, he managed just 6 career sacks, consistently losing his starting role and struggling to translate his athleticism into on-field production. When a first-round edge rusher can't pressure the quarterback, especially in a franchise built on dominant linebackers, the disappointment is impossible to ignore. AFC South. Houston Texans. Derek Stingley Jr. 2022, number 3 overall. The Texans took a massive swing in 2022, drafting Derek Stingley Jr. ahead of Sauce Gardner, who instantly became a Defensive Rookie of the Year and one of the best corners in football. Meanwhile, Stingley has struggled to stay healthy and find consistency, leaving fans to wonder if Houston gambled on potential instead of production. When you pass on a proven superstar for a risk that hasn't paid off yet, that's the kind of decision that haunts teams for years. Indianapolis Colts. Art Schlichter, 1982, number 4 overall. Art Schlichter, the Colts' 1982 number 4 overall pick, never reached NFL glory. His career sputtered after only 13 games, 6 starts, derailed by a gambling addiction that led to a league suspension and lifelong legal issues. Once considered a top QB prospect, Schlichter's off-field collapse turned him into one of the franchise's biggest draft disasters. Jacksonville Jaguars. Blaine Gabbert, 2011, number 10 overall. Blaine Gabbert was taken 10th overall in 2011, but being a first-round quarterback didn't save him. He started 27 games for Jacksonville and posted just 22 touchdowns against 24 interceptions, with a low completion rate and a 5-22 record as a starter. Among analysts, the expectation collapsed quickly. Gabbert became a textbook example of rushing a raw QB into the fire. Potential never matched performance. Tennessee Titans. Isaiah Wilson, 2020, number 29 overall. Isaiah Wilson, the 29th overall pick in 2020, played in just one game and logged only 4 snaps, 3 on defense, 1 on special teams, before being suspended and placed on the non-football illness list. Off-field issues, a DUI arrest, and repeated COVID list stints derailed what should have been a developmental season. A first-rounder whose NFL career fizzled before it really began. AFC West. Denver Broncos. Paxton Lynch, 2016, number 26 overall. Paxton Lynch entered Denver with high hopes as their first-round QB, but over 2 seasons, he appeared in only 5 games, started 4, and finished with just 792 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Denver traded up for him, expecting a franchise quarterback, but he lost multiple quarterback battles and was released before 2018. He's now widely considered maybe the worst choice in Broncos history. Kansas City Chiefs. Todd Blackledge, 1983, number 7 overall. Todd Blackledge was the 7th overall pick in 1983, chosen over future Hall of Fame players like Dan Marino and Jim Kelly. Over 5 seasons, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns, posted under 50% completion, and failed to become a franchise QB. Widely viewed as one of the Chiefs' worst draft mistakes. Las Vegas Raiders. Jamarcus Russell, 2007, number 1 overall. Jamarcus Russell completed just 52.1% of his passes, threw 18 touchdowns against 23 interceptions, and amassed 4,083 yards over 3 seasons, plagued by weight issues, poor effort, and lack of discipline. He's widely considered the gold standard of NFL draft busts. Los Angeles Chargers. Ryan Leaf, 1998, number 2 overall. Ryan Leaf entered the league as a top quarterback prospect, but over 3 seasons, he completed under 50% of his passes, threw 14 touchdowns against 36 interceptions, and won just 4 of 14 starts. NFC East. Dallas Cowboys. Bobby Carpenter, 2006, number 18 overall. The Cowboys drafted Bobby Carpenter to be a disruptive playmaker on defense, but instead, he became a symbol of wasted potential. Nicknamed Barbie Carpenter by frustrated fans due to his lack of physicality, he started only 3 games in 4 seasons and never became a consistent contributor. When a first-round linebacker can't earn meaningful snaps, especially on a defense desperate for help, that's a draft mistake Cowboys fans still shake their heads about. New York Giants. Rocky Thompson, 1971, number 18 overall. Rocky Thompson was a first-round pick in 1971, yet over 3 seasons, he rushed for only 217 yards on 68 carries and added 16 catches for 85 yards, barely scratching the surface of expectations. He never became a legitimate offensive threat and is often mentioned as one of the Giants' most disappointing first-round selections. Philadelphia Eagles. Michael Haddix, 1983, number 8 overall. Michael Haddix totaled 1,635 rushing yards on 543 attempts, a 3 yards per carry career average, the lowest among running backs with 500-plus carries. He added just 3 rushing touchdowns and failed to live up to first-round expectations. Washington Commanders. Heath Shuler, 1994, number 3 overall. Heath Shuler struggled mightily. Over his career, he completed about 49% of his passes, threw just 15 touchdowns versus 33 interceptions, and finished with a 4-9 record as a starter. This performance cemented his status as perhaps the biggest draft bust in Commanders franchise history. NFC North. Chicago Bears. Kevin White. 2015, number 7 overall. Kevin White, drafted 7th overall in 2015, never stayed healthy. He missed his entire rookie season and over 4 years logged just 25 receptions for 285 yards and 0 touchdowns. Chronic injuries derailed what could have been a star career, turning a top 10 pick into one of the Bears' biggest draft busts. Detroit Lions. Charles Rogers. 2003, number 2 overall. Charles Rogers had elite size, hands, and speed, but injuries crushed his potential. 2 consecutive season-ending collarbone breaks and off-field issues derailed his career. Once a dominant college wide receiver, he never produced in the NFL, leaving Detroit with what many consider one of their most infamous draft disappointments. Green Bay Packers. Tony Mandarich. 1989, number 2 overall. Tony Mandarich arrived as the best offensive line prospect ever and left as one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. Picked ahead of 3 future Hall of Famers, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders, Mandarich never lived up to his mythical hype. He started just 9 games in 3 years with Green Bay before being cut. When you pass on generational greatness for empty promise, that mistake doesn't fade. It becomes a franchise cautionary tale. Minnesota Vikings. DJ Dozer. DJ Dozer rushed for just 691 yards on 172 carries, added 33 catches for 301 yards, and scored 9 touchdowns over his NFL career. He never matched his first-round expectations. A classic example of promise unfulfilled. NFC South. Atlanta Falcons. Andre Bruce. 1988, number 1 overall. When you draft first overall, you expect a franchise-changing star. Instead, the Falcons got Andre Bruce, a linebacker with elite athletic traits, but minimal production. Across 4 seasons in Atlanta, he started only 11 games and recorded just 16 total sacks in his entire 11-year career. Labeled the next Lawrence Taylor on draft day, he never came close to living up to the hype. For a team desperate for a defensive cornerstone, it remains one of the most painful swings and misses in Falcons history. Carolina Panthers. Tim Biakabutuka. 1996, number 8 overall. Tim Biakabutuka had explosive talent and game-breaking potential, but injuries never let him become the star Carolina needed. He played just 50 games over 6 seasons, topping 700 rushing yards only once. For a top 10 pick expected to carry the offense, the flashes of brilliance were never enough to outweigh the missed time, turning a promising career into one of the Panthers' biggest what-could-have-been stories. New Orleans Saints. Jonathan Sullivan. 2003, number 6 overall. Jonathan Sullivan, drafted 6th overall by the Saints in 2003, never lived up to expectations. Conditioning issues and inconsistent play limited his impact despite 36 games. A top draft pick who failed to produce, Sullivan remains a cautionary tale that even first-round talent isn't guaranteed to succeed in the NFL. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bo Jackson. 1986, number 1 overall. Bo Jackson, drafted 1st overall by the Buccaneers in 1986, refused to play for them, choosing baseball instead. Tampa Bay lost a generational talent without seeing him on the field. This rare bust wasn't due to performance, but a contract and career choice, leaving fans with one of the NFL's biggest what-ifs. NFC West. Arizona Cardinals. Josh Rosen. 2018, number 10 overall. Josh Rosen was supposed to be the quarterback of the future, but the future lasted just 1 season. Poor decision-making, shaky accuracy, and 0 progress made Arizona regret the pick almost immediately. The Cardinals bailed after just 13 starts, choosing Kyler Murray number 1 overall the very next year. A brutal indictment of how quickly Rosen's stock collapsed. When your team drafts your replacement after 1 season, that's a bust of historic proportions. Los Angeles Rams. Jason Smith. 2009, number 2 overall. Jason Smith arrived with size and athleticism, but development never clicked. Technique struggles and inconsistent play made him a liability at tackle. Once a promising top 2 pick, he never lived up to expectations, plagued by injuries and poor performance, ultimately becoming one of the Rams' biggest draft disappointments. San Francisco 49ers. Jim Druckenmiller, 1997, number 26 overall. Jim Druckenmiller was drafted as the future after Steve Young, but it never clicked. Accuracy issues, poor poise, and limited game experience kept him from developing. The 49ers never got the successor they hoped for, leaving fans disappointed in yet another high draft gamble gone wrong. Seattle Seahawks. Dan McGuire, 1991, number 16 overall. Dan McGuire, a towering 6'8" quarterback, never translated size into success. Inconsistent accuracy and limited starts left him with just 745 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Drafted 16th overall, he failed to become a franchise QB, serving as a stark reminder that physical tools don't guarantee NFL success. And there you have it, the NFL's draft picks that promised the world but delivered heartbreak instead. Some failed spectacularly, others just fizzled quietly. So what's your take? Would you have made the same choices? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives.